if you're telling me that you don't have time to work out because you have so much to study, then you are lying. You can definitely find at least half an hour or an hour of every day to do some activity, do some working out, go to the gym. You can definitely find that. So in this video, I am going to be giving some fitness tips for university students, college students, whatever you want to call it. People that go to university, essentially. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. So with me, I'm not a university student anymore. I used to go to university and I finished my studies in 2021 September. And looking back, there are so many things that I've done well, and I've adopted very good habits over my time at university. Made most of my gains during my time when I was studying. So I would say I can give a very good overview of what is a good practice, how you should go about the gym and university, how you should balance these two things out, because it's very, very important to get that balance. So I'm going to give you some tips based on my experience, based on how I've done things, especially now as I am not a student anymore. I can look back and be a bit more critical about the things that I've done well, things that I could have done better. So I'm going to put that into consideration as well while I'm giving you advice here. So basically what I'm going to do is talk about a couple of points, and I'm going to be breaking them down individually and explain to you why you should do this or how you should do this in the first place. So the first tip that I'm going to give you is simply the fact that you have so much time. Now, you realize this more once you have finished university. At university, a lot of people tend to procrastinate, waste a lot of time. You're a young person, you go out party a lot, of course. You want to enjoy yourself. That's very important. But at the same time, when you look back at your time at university, even if you've done well, you're going to realize that there are so many times when I've done nothing with that 2 hours that I had in the afternoon. I just relaxed and watched a movie. Instead of that, I could have done something a bit more useful, something a bit more productive. And this is why it's important to understand that you do have time for the gym. You have more than enough time for the gym. Now, different people study different subjects. Some people study aerospace engineering, some people study accounting or business, more lectures, less lectures. No matter how many lectures you do have time to work out. Especially after you realize with a full-time job, you are working 9 to 5. And even then, you can definitely find time to work out every day or do sports every day. So if you're telling me that you don't have time to work out because you have so much to study, then you are lying. You can definitely find at least half an hour or an hour of every day to do some activity, do some working out, go to the gym. You can definitely find that. And yes, that does also mean that even when you're hungover, of course at university you're going to be partying sometimes, you're going to be going out. That's fine, you should definitely do that. But at the same time, when you're hungover, that does not give you the excuse to skip your workout. So make sure you establish a routine where even if you're hungover, no matter how you feel, you tailor your workouts around your schedule, because you can definitely do this. It's way easier than you think. Just use your common sense and you can definitely come up with a very good solution to do this. But you definitely do have time to work out. So if you are a university student as we speak, then just be a bit more creative and you can definitely find some times where you have a free half an hour, free hour to work out. You definitely got this. In terms of the workout plan that I recommend for you, as I was saying, to work out most days. But to do that, the push-pull legs routine is probably the most beneficial workout routine for you. Now, this seems to be simply the most popular workout routine out there these days. And for the simple reason that you get to work out each muscle group at least twice. Because let's say you do push on Monday, pull Tuesday, Wednesday you do legs, Thursday rest day, and you start again. That means you get to do push twice, pull twice, and legs twice a week, which means you give your muscle groups twice the chance to grow. So it's a very efficient way to work out. And even if you're only working out 3 times a week, which by the way, I don't recommend. If you work out 3 times a week, okay, you can still see results. But if you can, try and work out at least 6 times a week, because you do have time, as I was saying. But to summarize, the push-pull legs routine is the best workout routine for you probably. Now, if you are just getting into the gym and you only work out twice a week because you do other sports, other commitments, other activities, that's fine as well. In that case, doing a full body workout twice a week is what's going to probably work the best for you, because again, you get to work out all your muscle groups twice a week. But if you can, try and do more than 2 or 3 sessions. 6 is very recommended, because you definitely can do this, especially if you enjoy it, because some people don't enjoy going to the gym. And if you don't enjoy it, then learn to enjoy it. You can definitely do exercises in the gym that you enjoy more. Some people hate certain exercises. That's fine. Don't do them. Find an alternative that you enjoy more. There are always alternatives. There are so many different ways of doing a movement. So it's something to consider for sure. Tip number 2 is simply just to tailor your workouts around your schedule, around your lectures. So in my case, for example, I remember I had some days where I had a lecture from 9 to 11. Then 11 to 1 I had a break, and then after 1 o'clock I came back and I had that 1 to 3, and then another one maybe from 5 to 6. So I was at the campus most of the day. But the extra 2 hours that I had in between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock allowed me to go to the gym. So I made most of that 2 hours that I have for free. I went to the gym, I worked out, and I got some food. And in 2 hours time, I worked out, I've eaten, and I made it back to my lecture. So you need to make sure to be creative in the way in which you do it. different people will have different schedules. So sometimes you maybe want to go in the morning, maybe that suits you more. Maybe wake up a little bit earlier, sacrifice a bit more. Or as I was saying, if you have a gap between lectures, then try and use that gap to work out. And then you can definitely fit it into your schedule pretty easily. Just try and be creative with your schedule. Try and be creative with how you work out, when you work out, how long you work out for, how intense it is. You can definitely do this. At the end of the day, it's really up to you to tailor it to yourself. You have to make sure that this routine is sustainable. So you have to make sure you enjoy it. So you have to try different things. Maybe you prefer working out in the morning, then try and go before lectures. Maybe you prefer the evening, maybe you prefer midday, whatever suits you. Try these different things and eventually you're going to find out what works the best for you. The next few tips that I'm going to give you are going to be to do with nutrition. Actually, these are the biggest one when it comes to university. As I was saying, you have loads of time to work out, so that's not even the biggest issue. The hard part when it comes to university and staying in shape, gaining muscle, losing weight, whatever you're trying to do, is the nutrition. And the first thing that I'm going to give you is not even to do with nutrition necessarily, but more with the budget. At university, you don't have that much money. Of course, you have your student loan, but you're a little bit more broke usually, at least in my case, that was the time. So what I recommend for you to do is to not eat out all the time. Make sure you limit your eating out as much as possible. What I mean by that is allow yourself to order a takeaway food only once every week, once every 2 weeks max, something like that. Many people around you are going to order a lot of food, are going to get a lot of takeaways. It's not very healthy. That's one thing. Not very healthy is one thing, but when you cook for yourself, it's way cheaper. And you also get to be very creative in the way in which you cook your meals. So you can make sure you have more protein in, you can kind of try and make sure that you have enough calories in that meal. Maybe if you're trying to lose weight, then you alter your meal accordingly as well. So with the takeaway, it has a lot of calories in it. It's not you that's controlling it. When you are cooking it, it's not just cheaper, but you do have more control over what you're putting in there, how many calories you're going to have. Maybe limiting stuff like cheese, which is a lot of calories if you're trying to lose weight. You can play around with this very, very well. You can play around with this. And if you're new at university, maybe you cannot cook at all, learn to cook. Learn to cook. It's very simple. Look, cooking is not a difficult thing. You just have to learn it. Watch some videos online. Ask your mom. Ask your flatmate. There are so many ways of doing it. And once you learn, you are going to be able to save a lot of money. And not just that, but you're also going to be able to have a more healthy lifestyle. The next tip that I'm going to give you is to do with eating healthy, but not too healthy. What I mean by that is try and eat healthy to an extent, but don't get too caught up in this. What I mean by this is, maybe this is something that you're already doing, you probably are going to be doing this, is to eat healthy, maybe have a healthy breakfast, sometimes have a pizza here and there, sometimes buy stuff that is a bit more unhealthy if it really makes you happy. It's all about finding that balance which will help you to reach your fitness goals, but at the same time, it's not too strict where you really hate your life. The most important thing when it comes to fitness is to enjoy the process. And if you are making it incredibly unsustainable for yourself and you are really strict in everything, you don't go out to party, you just eat food and you just eat chicken, broccoli and rice 5 times a day, then you're not going to enjoy your life. You have to find a balance where you are working out, but you're also happy and proud of your achievements, proud of your body, but at the same time, you don't overdo it where this is all you have going for you. At university, you still have to enjoy yourself. It's very important. Because at the end of the day, you are there to, of course, to study, but at the same time, to have a good time and to learn some skills and just to become an adult, because that's the first time you're away from your parents most of the time, right? The next tip that I'm going to give you is to do intermittent fasting or have a big breakfast. Do one of these two depending what your goals are. So maybe your goal is to gain muscle and to gain weight. Maybe you're a skinny guy, you're a hard gainer. In that case, have a big breakfast, right? When you have a big breakfast, maybe with 1,000 calories, it will help you to get that calories in. Some people really struggle to get those calories in. I really struggled with this back in the day. I used to have a lot of weight gainers. So what I did instead is to make sure that I have more time to have the calories that I need to have, is I have a big breakfast, and then after that, it's less pressure for me to get the rest of the calories in during the day. It's a bit easier. Now, a lot of people at university skip their breakfast. This can be good if you're actually looking to lose weight, because it's intermittent fasting at the end of the day. So if you skip breakfast, then what that means is that you have less time to consume the rest of your calories for the day, which makes it harder to overeat. So if your goal is weight loss, then by doing this, you are probably going to make it a bit easier for yourself. However, again, this is something you do have to try for yourself. But depending on your goal, if you want to lose weight, then do intermittent fasting. Don't eat breakfast and have your first meal at lunch or afternoon. And if you are looking to gain weight, then try and make sure that as soon as you get up, you have a big meal for yourself, you have a big breakfast, and then it will be easier to get the rest of the calories in during the day as well, and it will really put you into that gaining phase. It will really help you to gain weight, which is what you need to do if you're a skinny person. The next tip that I'm going to be giving you is to do with partying. So when you're partying, you can have different types of drinks. What I really recommend for you to do, especially if you're trying to lose weight, is to have spirits with diet mixes. So let's say you have vodka and you mix that up with diet lemonade, diet Coke, diet Fanta with 0 calories. Well, because what this does is it restricts the amount of calories that you're going to be consuming while you're drinking alcohol. Alcohol has empty calories in it and it's not good for you at all. There's no carbs, no fats, no proteins. There's nothing in there. So it's not good. So by having spirits with diet mixes, you do get to limit the amount of calories that you're consuming while you are drinking. But even if you're trying to gain weight, you don't want to reach your calorie goal for the day by drinking. You want to make sure it comes from regular foods. So by limiting the amount of calories that you're consuming and just sticking to spirits and a diet mixer is a good way to also make sure you're going to be more fresh the next day when you wake up. It's going to limit the hangover that you have. So make sure you think a bit more strategically when you are partying, because you do have to party at university, as I was saying. You do have to enjoy yourself. Not all the time, but a couple of times, once a week, or at least is a nice way to get into it. I mean, you want to have a social life, you want to meet new people, and most importantly, you do want to enjoy yourself. The last tip that I'm going to be giving you is simply to tailor everything that you do to yourself. So earlier, I listed out a couple of things that you can do to maximize your gains when it comes to university. Make sure you tailor this to yourself. What I mean by that is, the tips that I just gave you earlier, try them out for yourself. Some of these might not work for you. If they don't work for you, then don't do it. There's no point. I mean, everything needs to be based on your personal experience. So let's say intermittent fasting I told you to potentially try. Try it for yourself. Does it work for you? Does it not work for you? What is your feedback? What does your body tell you? Do you end up overeating when you don't have a big breakfast? Do you end up getting really, really hungry? And do you just end up consuming more calories because you didn't have your breakfast and you just became a bit more hungry? My point with this is the fact that these tips, don't just take it with a pinch of salt. Try it for yourself and experience it for yourself. Maybe some of these are going to be useful for you, but there are some which are simply just not going to work for you. So what you need to do is to tailor all of these things to yourself and find what works the best for you. Now at university, I've experimented with many different things. It took me some time to actually realize what works best for me in terms of working out and in terms of nutrition, so make sure you pay attention to this. What works for me is not necessarily going to work for you. We're all different. We all have different body types, different metabolisms. We're all different people. So you have to make sure you find what works the best for you by trying out different things. But anyway, this is what it was for this video. Let me know what you think of this. Maybe you're a university student currently and you have a couple of things that you struggle with. Let me know in the comments, see if I can help you. But yeah, let me know if I missed something as well. Maybe I missed a couple of things, but this is just information based on what I experienced while I was at university. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this type of content, then consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. I talk about things like going to the gym, working out, sports like boxing or football, traveling for self-improvement, or just general self-improvement. If that interests you, then consider maybe subscribing. If you like this video, if you gained value from it, also give it a like and tune in for the next video, which will be released actually next week.